Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone joining from around the world. My name is Yilin Zhao, Junior Communication Officer at International Telecommunication Union (ITU), and it's a pleasure to be your Master of Ceremony for this exciting event. Before we begin, I would like to take a moment to introduce the session format. Today's session is part of a larger series by the ITU called the Digital Transformation Dialogues (DTD). Digital transformation dialogues bring experts from a range of industries together for webinars, Ask the Expert sessions, and fireside chat. Today's session is a webinar which is jointly organized with the Global Cities Hub. This webinar is dedicated to celebrating World Cities Day and exploring the future of cities and communities. Before I introduce the speakers of the opening, I would like to highlight a few logistical items. Firstly, the questions from the audience will be taken during the Q&A session after the webinar. If you have questions you would like to submit, please do so by typing in the Q&A window, and the Q&A icon can be found at the bottom of your screen. Please note that the webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be made available on the event website. And thank you all for joining us today. To officially kick off this webinar, it's my pleasure to welcome our distinguished opening speakers. We will start with a pre-recorded message from Mr. Onoe.
Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to you all. Let me begin by thanking Sami Khan, Deputy Mayor of Geneva and President of Geneva's Global Cities Hub, for co-organizing today's discussion with ITU. On World Cities Day, we reaffirm our commitment to shaping a better urban future for all. Digital transformation is now fundamental to urban development. Cities are looking to data, AI, the Internet of Things, digital twins, and the metaverse to make well-informed decisions, manage resources effectively, and improve service delivery. I encourage you to build on the international standards developed by ITU Study Group 20. Over 200 cities around the world have adopted our key performance indicators or progress toward the UN Sustainable Development Goals. This KPI project is driven by United for Smart Sustainable Cities, an initiative that ITU supports together with another 18 UN partners. I thank the initiative's chair, Dr. Okangere, for your many years of outstanding support to this work. I would also like to highlight our global initiative on virtual worlds launched in June at the first UN Virtual World Day. ITU leads this initiative together with the UN International Computing Center and Digital Dubai. The initiative places emphasis on the cityverse, aiming to ensure that the virtual worlds support urban planning, citizens' engagement, and sustainability. Creating the future we want for our cities will call for productive collaboration, digital transformation, and making full use of technical standards. This was just reaffirmed in New Delhi by Governing Conference for ITU Standardization Work, the World Telecommunication Standardization Assembly. The conference reached new global agreements that reinforce ITU's work in areas from AI and the metaverse to sustainable digital transformation. It also emphasized the importance of our work on digital public infrastructure, automated driving, and emergency communications. We want you to be a part of it. If you are not already contributing to ITU's work, I will encourage you to join our global community. Thank you.
Thank you, Onoi-san, for your inspiring opening remarks. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Andres Zoini, Senior Policy Advisor, Global Cities Hub, to deliver his remarks. Andres, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Director Onoe, for setting the tone for our discussion. On behalf of the Global Cities Hub, it's my pleasure to deliver some opening remarks. We are delighted to cooperate with ITU to organize this webinar on World Cities Day. It's very symbolic and very important for us. I commend the colleagues at ITU, especially Cristina Buetti, for leading an inclusive discussion on this important topic and inviting mayors to sit around this virtual table. We at Global Cities Hub, we see three core values that serve as the right starting point for building people-oriented smart cities: inclusivity, equity, and accessibility. Smart cities should prioritize the well-being and needs of their residents. Therefore, smart city leaders should choose the right technology for the right mission. It is important to understand the complexity and layers of smartness, which includes people, the economy, the infrastructure, and the governance structure. That's why we believe it's very important to have these dialogues about the different levels of governance. Let me also emphasize that the human rights approach and the ethical use of technology, especially AI, is crucial for smart city development. The Global Cities Hub is convinced of the need to provide a dedicated space to local and regional governments in general, and smart city leaders in particular, to give rise to a more inclusive multilateralism and better access to digitalization for everyone, everywhere. We have organized several exchanges in the past with UN Habitat, with OHCHR, and most importantly, with ITU, such as the Smart City Leaders Talk earlier this year at the VCIS process. I am convinced that together we can make a real difference. International organizations should take their fair share identifying and promoting best practices. And when they are creating formal rules and regulations, they need to consult local and regional governments on policy. I am convinced that this discussion today will contribute to that approach, and therefore I encourage all participants to be bold in your interventions and make your recommendations to us. Thank you very much, and once again, thank you ITU and the colleagues for organizing this event.
Thank you, Andres. We have a fantastic lineup of panelists for this webinar. So without further delay, it's my pleasure to introduce our moderator, Andres, again for this session. Andres, you have the floor, please.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy to moderate this great line of panelists. Today's discussion will explore this concept of people-centered smart cities. We'll be discussing how technology and urban development are converging to create a more inclusive, sustainable, and accessible urban environment. And the variety of speakers we will have, I think, will contribute to this discussion. We will have 4 speakers: Ivica Puljak, the mayor of Split; Alexandre Boschard, from the coordinator and project manager from PUI; Teppo Rantanen, director for competitiveness and innovation from the city of Tampere; and Cristina Buetti, councillor and ITU focal point on smart, sustainable cities. I will present them one by one once I give them the floor. So without further ado, let me start by inviting our first speaker, Mayor Ivica Puljak. He is mayor of Split, currently working on the development of smart city solutions, but he is also a professor of physics who actively participated in the discovery of the Higgs boson in CERN here in Geneva. Last but not least, he is a national politician, the leader of the Center Party. And I think this is a promising combination of titles and functions, and especially mindsets for a mayor who is building a smart city. So, Mayor, my questions to you and to all other speakers after you are the following. What is the main challenge when introducing digital solutions to build a people-oriented smart city function? And what good practices or experiences you can share that other cities can replicate or ITU or another organization can use in their future regulatory work? Mayor Puyak, the floor is yours.
Hello to everyone. Dear Mr. Andras, thank you very much for your invitation, and thank you to the Global Cities Hub and the ITU for the invitation to present the city of Split. As you said, I'm actually a mayor of the city of Split since 3 years, and I have been the scientist. I'm on leave from the university, and I spend a lot of my time at CERN in Geneva working in particle physics. And this is, I would say, this was a good experience, and it helped me a lot to, when I lead a city, I actually always take care that that whatever I do is based on data, and every decision that I make is actually something like a scientific decision, which is always based on data and the predictions for the future. As a first, I have a small presentation which is concentrated on the small city practices and some examples that we have introduced here in the city of Split. But as an answer to your first question, what are the main challenges? I would say that actually the main challenge when we introduce the smart city solutions is to concentrate more on people than on the technology. I'm actually myself, I'm the technological freak. And I think that technology is great. It's really improving our lives. But sometimes we give a lot of emphasis on the technology itself, and then sometimes we forget what is the problem that we are solving, how this really will help our citizens. And here in the city of Split, we are actually the city on the coastline. We are the second largest city in Croatia and the largest city on the Adriatic Sea in Croatia, and we are a big touristic center as well as a scientific center, and we have a lot of challenges which are brought by the tourism and by the modern way of living of people, and we are looking for the solutions, the smart city solutions that will first help our citizens and then be the technological solutions at the end. So we have several examples, and first of all, some of them are connected with the public, with the urban mobility, and some of them are connected with the other aspects of everyday life. So maybe the next slide will show you the smart city suite. So what we have is the application that we call the smart city, which is the app that you can download on your computer, through which you can interact with the city administration. So every opinion that you can have, every criticism that you can have, every question that you can have with the city administration or the city companies, you can actually you can do it through the smart city application. And maybe it would be better if I share my screen. Then it would be, I think it would go faster, and then I can control my screen maybe better. So let me do it this very quickly. Then we have also, you can, through our smart city application, you can pay all the bills that are connected with all the services that you can have. You can pay them through the application. There is a city calendar as well. So all the events which are organized in the city of Split, they are actually displayed in the city calendar, being private or public, so that everybody that is willing to participate in any event in the city of Split can actually see it in the calendar, and in the future it will be able to buy the tickets and everything else through the calendar. Then we have the very good geo-informational system with all the data that are actually gathered through this portal. We have, for example, the 3D map of the city of Split with all the buildings reconstructed in 3D. We have, for example, a solar potential of every roof in Split, because we would like to encourage our citizens to install the photovoltaic panels on the roofs of their buildings, so they can check very quickly what is the solar potential of their roof. And then in the future, we are now extending this portal that you can actually pre-order already solar panels in order to install them in your roofs. Then we have the public bike sharing system, which is maybe one of the most used public bike sharing system in Europe. And the city of Split is the hilly town. A few years ago, nobody believed that we will use this bike sharing system. Now everybody is using it because we have a lot of beaches and the places that you can really nicely use this bike system. We have achieved 1 million rentals already in the January of this year. This is, for example, a nice graphics which is showing you the beginning and the ending point of all the bike rentals in the city of Split. And we have even one which was actually rented here and then left in 80 kilometers away, the city of Šibenik, which is 80 kilometers away. So this is really very successful system that we are using. Then we have one of the first smart parking system, I think, in Europe. I think that we started to pay for our parking via SMS, well, like 15 years ago when the SMS were starting. And now this is widely used everywhere. Then we have a very nice and modern e-ticketing system for the public bus transport. We have modernized the bus fleet very recently, bought 100 new buses. But what is interesting, we have an e-ticketing system in which you can see the position of every bus in the live position of every bus, so that, for example, you can take calmly your coffee and wait for the bus to arrive to your bus station and just appear in the bus station 20 seconds before your bus arrives. And this is very, very, very well used system. Then we are introducing the intelligent transport system, which will monitor all the transport in the city of Split, and through which we will be able to predict what is going on in the future, to be able to control the transport system in the city of Split. And then what we think is the future, we are now preparing, and we have all the data, a 3D model of the city, and that in order to build a digital twin that is the replica of the city on the computer, so that every morning when I come to my job, that I get the message, "Good morning, Mayor. This is what will probably happen in your city today." So we would like to simulate the life in the city and then predict what is going to happen. And for that, we are actually building what is called the Smart City Lab, which we will place in the newly built technology park in Split, which is the biggest technology park in Croatia, in which we will have the R&D facility for all our companies in order to build and implement the smart city solutions. And at the end, let me actually invite you to come to the city of Split. This is a newly built nice building which is overseeing the whole region in Split and around. And I invite you all to come to Split and visit us and to see how actually well we implemented some of these solutions. Thank you. And now I'm open later on in the Q&A to answer your questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Bujak, for this very comprehensive and very detailed list of functions of a smart city, from interface for citizens with the administration to helping citizens, if I understood correctly, to use the data of the solar potential of their roof for further development. And I especially vision what you mentioned, to arrive to my office and having a cyber voice saying, "Good morning, Mr. András. This is what will happen in the world today." It might be a very exciting experience. I'm sure there will be several questions on that later on. Let me come to our next speaker, Alexandre Bossard. who is member of the board of the Department for Industrial Services and Technical Office of the city of Puy. He has completed such projects like the creation of the Swiss Association Taxi for the development of open source software for public infrastructure management, or the project management competence center to assist politicians in implementing the legislative program. It'll be interesting to hear now, first from a politician and now for professional on this. You might also share some experience of yours, how to implement locally the indicators of the ITU's U4 SSC indicators, perhaps. Alexandre, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Andreas. Hello, everybody. Thank you to ITU and Global City Hub for the invitation and for the honor to represent the small city of Puy, which overlooks the Lemon Lake side near Lausanne and Geneva, with 19,000 inhabitants. Smart city solution people-oriented. What is the main challenge to develop a smart city people-oriented? You can click. I'd like to say that there isn't just one main challenge. Click. But several. I've chosen the challenge how to understand each other. Click. To illustrate this, I'd like to share with you a reflection about a policy management tool based on U4SSC KPIs. Click. After the elections, the Municipality Council of Puy published a policy program named Legislative Program. This helped citizens, communal council, municipal council, and administration to understand the general intentions of the municipality, council, and the project implementations over the next 5 years. Click. Then the project needs to be piloted and realized. Therefore, in 2022, a new project management competence center has been set up in Puy with a common guide harmonized for all departments of the city, the project management guide you can see at the left in orange. For each department, a delegate responsible for implementing the methodology and coaching colleagues, a consolidated citywide project portfolio. Currently, there are 185 projects in progress, and in the future, a scorecard to measure with KPIs the progress in achieving the objectives of the legislative program. This will help administration and municipal council to understand how to implement the common steering methodology, the reasons and objectives for launching a new project, how is managed the collaboration between different departments of the city, and the level of achievement of project of legislative program. Click, please. Finally, every 5 years, Puy under the microscope is published. It describes the city according to KPIs based on the U4SSC initiative. Click, please. A new version will be published in December 2024, so in 1 month, which includes also Swiss national KPIs with the Cercle Indicateur initiative and KPIs developed by the Puy administration. Click, please. Puy under the microscope offers a simplified and intuitive representation of the KPIs. Here we have all the KPIs which belongs to the category water and sanitation. Click, please. This helps citizens, communal council, municipality council, and administration to understand the way the city of Puy is running today. Click, please. To summarize how we try to understand each other through this policy management tool, based on the legislative program, people will understand what are the concrete political intentions for the next 5 years. Click, please. The Project Management Competence Center will help project manager to understand each other, in particular projects involving the collaboration of several departments, and for the municipality, a clear vision of the progress of the legislative program. Click, please. Every 5 years, the state of the city of Puy is measured towards KPIs, and Puy under the microscope is published, which will help people to understand where are the strengths and the challenge, and this will contribute then to define the next legislative program and so on. So I hope I've managed to highlight the experience of a small city focused on a people-oriented approach to understand each other while piloting the evolution of the city. Click, please. And I look forward to sharing with you innovative ideas and perhaps co-create people-oriented projects together in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alexandre, for this very useful tool. It's so useful that already in the Q&A box, I read the first question saying, could you share these documents? Are they available online for others to read and I guess reproduce or upscale at their level? Already with 185 projects in progress, I'm sure it's a challenge, but it will be very useful for cities and city leaders of all type and all size, I'm pretty sure. We will come back with questions later on. Let me turn to Teppo Rantanen, who is the Director for Competitiveness and Innovation at the City of Tampere, responsible for several citywide development programs with a particular focus on smart city themes, such as the Data-Driven City for Citizens initiative. As I know, Teppo, you are also a passionate metaverse visionary who keeps on dreaming big things, hoping them to be true one day. So I'm hopeful that you will also make some hints to that as well. We are eager to hear about your vision for a smart city or for a broader approach. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Anders. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So I'm happy to talk a little bit about what we have been doing. So Tampere is the second largest city region in Finland, about 420,000 inhabitants. And we have been pioneering a lot of smart city initiatives for the last 10 years or so. Geared now towards looking at how the metaverse could be one of the leading themes for our city and city region, but also working very closely with other cities around the world in Europe and in US and Asia. And I think that one of the big challenges that we have is how can you actually make this whole thing come together? So how can you make the different parts of our ecosystem, including the companies, the universities, the public sector, and also citizens come together to develop these new initiatives. In our first round of smart city development, we had more than 400 companies working together with us to come up with more than 200 solutions for our citizens, and always try to keep in touch with our citizens to understand what are the needs, how we can help them in their everyday lives, because that is what we are here for. And we have to be mindful of potentially making sure no digital divide will be the problem that we are facing, especially with the aging population, that how can we make sure that we get the aging population be part of our development work. So that has been one of our main focuses. At the same time as we are introducing fantastic new technologies and really fun stuff. In our metaverse vision, we are looking for things like the digital twins, the XR realities, looking at connectivity and looking at new ways of using data and AI And of course, there we face a lot of governance issues and issues to how to protect people so that there will be no misuse for those kind of assets. As one practical example that I would like to share with you is something we developed, which has been up and running now for a year or so, which we call Tampere Pulse. And what it does is that it gives access to everybody, so the citizens, the companies, to what happens in our cities. So looking at our different sensor feed, camera feed, and other sensors, looking at the historical data, looking at the weather data, the weather forecast, looking at the forecast of bigger events happening in the city, it predicts the people flow in the city of the center of the city 30 days in advance, hour by hour. So you can see how busy the streets are, what's happening there, and it gives access to, for example, restaurants and shop owners to really identify how they should be prepared for the people flow coming to their shops and to their restaurants in the coming days. And we've been able to make it a 90% plus accurate, so it gives a really high accuracy of forecasting the people movement in the streets of the center of the city. And we are enhancing it as we speak to look at the other important dimension we've also been working on, and that is the safety and security of the streets. So how can we make sure that the streets are safe and secure? How we can make sure that we can predict what's happening also on that front? So we're working together with the different officials like police department, the health and safety departments, to make sure that all this information is shared and accessed, and we can give also our citizens a view of what's happening in the city. And that's probably one of the coolest things we've done recently. Now what we hope to be adding to that is that if you like the vision for the future, it will be that we see in the next few years people wearing those different type of smart glasses on them, and they will be connected by 6G to the network, and they could live a full life combining the virtual and real reality and helping them in their everyday access of the city and its services and getting the full flavor of the city. But that is still yet to come. But we have these dreams that we are working on, and we definitely want to be working together with other cities on these topics, and with a lot of other partners like companies and also our citizens, to prepare how we can have the better city of the future at hand. So maybe this is a good start for the discussion of today.
Thank you very much, Teppo. I think it's not only a good start for discussion, we are already really in the middle of the discussion, and I'm very happy that you raised the issue of the use of data and the importance of governance, especially to protect the users and to govern the right way of using all the data which are generated at very high percentage at the local level, but which are personal data from the users. I also applaud your diverse approach, because security and safety in the streets and giving useful practical information for restaurants and shops are two totally different things, but both very important for the people. And I think these are great examples of a people-centered approach of a smart city. Thank you very much. I jump to our next speaker, Cristina Buetti. I don't really think I need to present her in this circle, but still, she's the ITU focal point on smart sustainable cities. She's counselor of ITU study group on Internet of Things and smart cities and communities. She's counselor of the focus group on the metaverse. But most importantly, perhaps, as I mentioned earlier, she is the engine behind today's webinar. So thank you very much, Cristina, to sharing your knowledge and views with us. My question is similar, but still a little bit different from the other speakers, obviously. How do you hear from local and regional governments about the challenges they face when introducing digital solutions to build people-oriented smart cities, and how ITU can help through their different work streams and programs in that regard. Christina, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Andras. And well, as you know, you are actually my companion in crime in organizing this webinar. And well, I think that one of the main challenges when introducing especially digital solutions for cities, having in mind actually that their first priority is really actually to serve their inhabitants, to improve actually their quality of life. It builds really a lot on what you just said at the very beginning. Some of the key aspects have to deal with inclusivity and accessibility. So how can we ensure that digital solutions are accessible and beneficial to all inhabitants, including vulnerable groups? And this is really complex. This is not an easy task. How we can make sure that we don't create or widen social divides. Privacy and data security. We know that in the European context, obviously, there is a regulatory framework in place. The same does not happen in many other cities worldwide. So smart city solution often rely on a vast amount of data, and that raises a lot of concerns from citizens, from inhabitants. Who is collecting my data? Where are they stored? Will they be sold, etc.? So protecting personal data while maintaining transparency and trust is really essential. And that requires really robust governance frameworks, which sometimes can be challenging, and also they need to be enforced. So, of course, when we look at the different technologies and the way how cities, they are also using different technologies, from blockchain to artificial intelligence to ultimately the metaverse, diverse technologies and systems must work together smoothly in order for a city to be able to function smoothly and effectively. So developing interoperable and standardized frameworks that support multiple platforms and devices requires coordination. And that is, for example, an area where definitely ITU, as the UN specialized agency for digital technology, can support. We are working to develop international standards thanks to the various experts that participate in the work of ITU, including cities. And that is extremely important, because that really prevents a lot of issues for cities that they will have to tackle in the future. We know that many cities have developed already a lot of platforms, but now they face challenges of not being able to share data even with neighboring cities. Another key challenge, but also I would say an opportunity, is engaging citizens. So stakeholder engagement and trust building is key, and how we engage citizens, businesses, and local governments to really understand their needs and ensure that the technology that being implemented is beneficial to them. So we cannot forget about the environment. I think it may sound repetitive, and probably with a few weeks to go to the conference of parties in Baku, but sustainability and the environmental impact are two great challenges that cannot be overlooked. I think that just in the last few days, we have seen another catastrophe that happened in the city of Valencia. I think we all witnessed the sad images with over 100 people dead. And, that is clearly, once again, climate change happening. So how can digital solution must support environmental sustainability goals, and how the city itself can minimize, for example, the environmental footprint. It's very important. I think we saw the great initiative that were presented by the mayor of Split, with the use of intelligent transport systems. These are, I think, already fantastic examples that helps to reduce the environmental footprint of a city, but also they require an investment, they require a policy decision, and clearly a priority in the list or in the wish list of every mayor. In addition, another challenges concerns, for example, policy and regulatory alignment. Sometimes, smart city solutions, they have to comply with local, national, or even international regulations. And that is, the case, for example, for data sharing and privacy, and navigating this complex, let's say, regulatory landscape cannot be easy for cities. So ITU has been working a lot to provide technical and policy assistance to cities. We have also developed, as it was briefly mentioned by actually Alexander, a set of key performance indicators that really help the cities to make informed decision, in terms of really helping the cities to measure the smartness, the sustainability, and the progress towards which the cities itself is achieving the SDGs. So these are some of the, I would say, some of the key elements which are important to be taken when we look at the overall digital transformation path that every city is embarking upon. And most importantly, when we look at the future, we have to work together to make sure that we are able to build synergies and leverage our reciprocal expertise. We are very happy, for example, to work very closely with cities, but also with organizations like the Global Cities Hub, because we complement each other and we provide, the necessary support to cities when it comes to both policy and technical support. Maybe I'll stop here for now.
Thank you very much, Christina. Actually, you cannot stop here because I will have right away a follow-up question. But before I ask that, thank you very much for reminding us of the SDG framework, which is, I think, our common frame of action, and also the aspects of sustainability, environmental impact, and the capacity of the cities to act to contribute to global solutions. I think cities has this potential, and if more and more cities join, then we will be able to make a difference. And there, what you also mentioned, data compatibility and interoperability will play a key role. Before I go back to our city representatives with two follow-up questions, just a quick one to you, Christina, in the Q&A. Can ITU empower individual grassroots initiatives? And if yes, how?
Well, actually, I think that the in general, I would say ITU, but I would go beyond, in saying that the United Nations, they have, various ways, first through capacity building initiatives, because it's really important to provide regular training sessions which are focused on skills. And that is certainly something that ITU has been doing for many years. We are not, of course, the only UN agencies. There are also others like, UNDP and others that are supporting technical expertise and infrastructure investment, because this is also important to really empower innovators. So ITU, for example, has been, helping, communities, and especially working with local startups in Africa. We always encourage governments also to establish regional innovation hubs, and that this is really an opportunity where, for example, a government can offer a sort of co-working spaces where there are also mentorship programs. And we have been also facilitating peer-to-peer learning. So, for example, allowing an exchange between communities where they share insights on how to overcome local challenges. And that has certainly been a great vehicle. Sometimes, learning from others, it's really a valuable lesson, especially when things go wrong and you know that someone is telling you what went wrong so that you cannot repeat the same mistake. I think that another important part is I would say the ability or the possibility more to provide data science tools. Because having data science tools can help, for example, innovators to use real-time data in community services. And once again, we have also worked with many communities. ITU is, I would say, pretty famous to issue every year the ICT indicators list. So we do provide actually specific guidance, and we have also dashboards which can be consulted in also in real time. In another, I would say, key component is in a way providing regular dialogues with the community and the cultural leaders. So ITU has been acting also as a broker on different topics, not only smart cities, from digital agriculture, from we have, for example, a very successful project in Niger on smart villages. So there are really a lot of good examples with partnering also with not only the governments, but also the local communities, and engaging directly also with the local governments and the SGOs. And the other important key element, which should not be really forgotten, is the importance to assess the projects, really to ensure that the project meets the community needs, that remain transparent, that can be improved continuously. So that is, I think, one of the really key ingredients where, the ITU has contributed in the past, especially also in helping local communities and cities and governments to establish their own specific roadmap. So that is the type of assistance that can be provided. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Your remark on the data science tools brings me to one of the questions asked to our city representatives. And I try to read it properly. Does your city has smart tool to collect citizens' feedback? And I guess it's also a question on to manage and analyze these feedbacks and data. Mayor Puljak, you mentioned already interface, the app, but the question I think is broader, how to manage and collect, not only collect, but manage these feedbacks. And the other question is, how far do you see the impact of a smart city development on the economy of the city? So let me start with the first one and invite all three of you to jump in and comment and answer. Do you have smart tools to use for the feedback you collect? Who would like to start? Ivica?
Yes, I can answer. So we have a part of that tool through our smart city app that we are actually offering to our citizens to ask any question and with any problem or even the feedback, and to contact us. We have a contact center, which is a centralized point for every kind of interaction with the city government. And we have recently actually did a survey. We wanted to introduce new bus lanes in the city of Split. And we wanted to ask our citizens, and we were actually conveying, but that was a rather simple form on the web. in order to ask all our citizens what are their ideas about the new bus lanes that they want in the city of Split. And we gathered quite some number of ideas, and then we analyzed all these ideas, and now we are introducing new bus lanes in the city of Split. Actually, the one that were asked by our citizens, because the movement pattern through the city has changed in past 20 years, and we didn't change our bus lanes since then. So we introduced the new bus lanes through asking our citizens. And the second question, how the smart technology can help to the economy, there are many different ways. But some of them is, for example, we have our local company, which is inventing, which is innovation company, working in the waste management system. They were inventing certain smart solutions for the waste management. And we were offering them, and we actually did with them a pilot system in which city of Split served as a kind of sandbox for their technology. So they were testing their technologies on the city of Split. They were improving them. And then later on, they can actually offer these technologies to the other cities in Europe and in the world. So we were actually serving as a testing ground. That's one of the example of the smart technologies that can improve the economy of the local economy.
Thank you for this presentation. Yes,
if
please.
I continue a little bit of that, I think that for us it has been an extremely important way of attracting companies and talent to our city. So with the smart city initiatives, we opened up a lot of platforms for companies to try and test things. We had the first 5G network up and running in 2017 for companies to try and test the new sort of a network skills. We have a new tram, which one of the cars is actually a living lab for companies to come and test, see how that is. And we see it as a huge benefit for building our economic strength and attracting a lot of talented people. So I think there's a lot of connection between the smart city technology initiatives and the economic success of the city.
Thank you. Alexandre, any comments?
Yes. As we are a little city, very little city, 19,000 inhabitants, the communication with the citizen, it's a traditional communication system with a website, and the question of the citizens arrive to our communication center, and then it's dispatched in the city, and we answer the question. So we don't have any app, but perhaps for the economy of the city, we have developed open source management infrastructure modules, for example, for water management. And at the beginning, it was managed by the city of Puy, and we received from other cities worldwide. They asked if they could use our water management system. So we thought it's not our business to do that. So we ask private companies to coach the cities which wants to use our water management system. So it developed a business, a private business, through our open source software development. But of course, it's not in Puy, it's in Switzerland. And we have also developers in Germany, in France, in Romania, and in Australia, who works for us. And and also about the impact of the economy, we have some collaboration with the Polytechnical School of Lausanne, and they have startups there. And for example, we've done a project with to survey mobility in the city of Puy with drones and IA to understand how the vehicles use the territory of the city of Puy. And then all those tests are reused to be in a private company.
Thank you very much. You preempted one of the following questions in the box, which was about whether we can use smart city development to reserve natural resources and the natural environment of the city. So I asked this question to Teppo and Ivica, but you are also welcome to jump back in, Alexandre, if you wish to add something. So do you have any examples where you used smart city development for natural environment issues?
So one of the interesting things we are doing right now is to enhance the use of digital twins. So not only the digital twins for a built environment, but also the digital twins on non-built environments, so the nature environment, because you have a lot of data of the natural environment as well. And that actually is giving us an opportunity to plan better the city going forward, when we can plan according to what is there existing in the nature, how we can preserve the biodiversity of our city, and at the same time continue building new areas and new parts of the city. So I think there's a lot of potential to use a smart city as a tool for enhancing biodiversity and enhancing the protection of the nature.
Thank you. Ivica?
Yeah, actually, in the city of Split, we have, as I said, a very precise data collection of all the places with the green, like trees and bushes and all the greenery in the city of Split. And we can actually, we are using that to plant the new trees around the city. And in the future, what we also think that we will use through the digital twin platform, a simulation of the heat islands, and to see where we have to plant additional trees in order to reduce the heat islands in the city of Split.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Alexandre, do you have?
Yes. So we have once again the water management module, which allows to reduce wastewater in the environment, and also to manage the best as possible the investments. So when we think investments, it's also use of energy, gray energy. If you do the good investment, you use less gray energy. I would like to say also the use of KPIs. So it's not directly technology, but it's interesting because, for example, the KPIs, U4SSC KPIs from ITU, you have chapters about the environmental dimension, and so that make the city aware of its impact on environment. For example, we have also the KPIs from the national level with Cercle Indicateur. We have the nesting birds in Puy. It's a KPI. First, it's a bit surprising, but in fact, if you have a lot of nesting birds, that means you have insects. So that means you have water. That means you have trees. That means you have less light during the night, etc., etc. For example, we have also a platform, a GIS platform, where you can see where are the best place to implement solar panel, etc.
Thank you very much. Thank you for our speakers of this great panel discussion. Thank you for the examples and the visions you shared with us. I need to move forward because we will close our webinar with two concluding interventions from Dr. Geray and from Wendy Campagna. So once again, thank you for our speakers, Mayor Puyak, Director Antanen, Mr. Boschard, dear Christina. Thanks for your interventions, and we are very much looking forward to continuing this discussion with you in other formats on other platforms. And now let me turn to Dr. Okan Geray and invite him to conclude our discussions by sharing his views and his reactions to what he heard. Dr. Garay played a crucial role as a strategy and policy advisor in Dubai for over 2 decades during the 4 generations of digital transformation, from e-government to smart government, then to smart city, and ultimately to digital city. He is the chair of U4SSC, so I think he doesn't need further introduction either. Dr. Garay, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Andreas. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, distinguished guests, colleagues, and participants. It's an honor to join you all today in this important webinar, City Horizons Celebrating World Cities Day and Shaping Urban Futures. First and foremost, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Seizo Onoe and Mr. Sami Kenan for their opening remarks and for setting the stage for today's event, and also to ITU and Global Cities Hub for organizing this webinar. As we gathered here to celebrate World Cities Day, we're reminded of the critical role cities play in shaping the future of our planet. Urbanization is accelerating, with over half of the world's population now living in cities. This trend presents both incredible opportunities and complex challenges, particularly in terms of smartness, sustainability, inclusivity, and resilience. I think the decisions we make today will influence not only how we live, but how future generations thrive in urban environments. The United for Smart Sustainable Cities, or U4SSC initiative, supported by 19 UN entities, are dedicated to supporting cities in their journey towards becoming smarter, more sustainable, and people-centered. This year, I'm pleased to share the establishment of 4 new thematic groups focusing on the following key areas: future foresight for cities, sustainable digital transformation in buildings and energy, social cultural sustainability in people-centered city governance, and digital public infrastructure for cities. These thematic groups are open to participation from all stakeholders, and I encourage everyone here in this webinar to join and contribute to shaping the future of cities and communities. Together, we can foster innovative solutions that address the challenges cities face today. In addition, U4SSC launched 3 significant publications this year: Guiding Principles for Artificial Intelligence in Cities, Policy Benchmarks for the Digital Transformation of People-Centered Cities, and Data and API Requirements for Centralized Smart City Platforms. These 3 resources offer practical guidance for city leaders and policymakers worldwide. I also warmly invite more cities to participate in the U4SSC Key Performance Indicators, or KPIs project, which has already been implemented in more than 200 cities globally. Furthermore, as mentioned by Mr. Onoe today, ITU, UNICC, and Digital Dubai launched a global initiative on virtual worlds, Discovering the Cityverse, during the first ever UN Virtual Worlds Day on 14 June 2024, this year. This groundbreaking initiative aims to explore the potential of virtual worlds in shaping the future of cities. It represents an exciting frontier for urban innovation, and I look forward to seeing how it evolves in the upcoming period. In today's webinar, we have delved into how we can envision and shape the future of cities and communities, building on the experiences of city leaders and experts from across the globe. In particular, we have discussed the role that digital technologies, data, and innovation play in creating cities and communities that benefit everyone. From city of Tampere, Finland, to Puyi in Switzerland, today's session provided valuable insights for all of us. As we celebrate the World Cities Day today, let us remember that our cities are more than just physical spaces. In fact, they are vibrant ecosystems of people, ideas, and opportunities. By leveraging digital technologies, collaboration, and forward-thinking policies, we can ensure that cities remain smart, inclusive, sustainable, and resilient in the face of rapid change. I would like to thank all the experts and participants for today's discussions and the invaluable insights we heard. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Garay. I think we catched a lot of interesting insights from your intervention, and I think your comments are very valuable to frame to the discussions of today. And now it's my pleasure to give the floor to our last speaker to conclude our event, Wendy Teresa Goico Campagna. She wears two hats, at least. She is Counselor mission of the Dominican Republic to the United Nations in Geneva, and she also assumes the position of Vice Chair of the UN U4SSC initiative. So we are really happy that you represent also the national level in our discussion, and we are eager to hear from you your concluding remarks. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Andras, for your kind introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and honored guests, as we come to the conclusion of our webinar, City Horizon Celebrating World Cities Day and Shaping Urban Landscape Future, I want to take a moment to reflect on the insightful and enlightening discussions, as well as the shared vision for our urban landscapes. Today, we explore the challenges and opportunities that cities face as we strive for sustainable development and inclusive growth. Guided by esteemed experts, our speakers have provided us with valuable perspective on how innovative approaches can transform urban spaces into thriving environments. Furthermore, they illuminated the importance of prioritizing the well-being and needs of residents in our urban landscapes. From sustainable infrastructure to community engagement, we have seen that the future of our cities and communities depends on our collective efforts and commitment. People-centered smart cities are not just a concept. They are a necessity for enhancing the overall urban experience. By integrating technology into the fabric of our communities, these cities create inclusive, sustainable, and accessible environments that cater to the diverse needs of our inhabitants. As we celebrate World Cities Day, let us remember the importance of collaboration and partnership. Our cities are not just places where we live and work. They are a vibrant ecosystem that require our attention and care. Together, we can shape urban futures that are resilient, equitable, accessible, and sustainable. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the TSB-ITU for organizing this exceptional webinar. Special thanks to Christina Betty for for her tireless work in achieving smart cities and communities, to our outstanding speakers and their excellent contributions, and to the wonderful audience we have had today. Your contributions are invaluable, and your dedication to shaping the future of our cities is truly remarkable. Finally, I encourage each of you to take the knowledge gained today and apply it into your communities. Let us continue the conversations sparked during this event and work hand in hand to implement the ideas we have discussed. Thank you for your participation, your enthusiasm, and your dedication to building better cities. Together, we can create a brighter future for urban living. I look forward to seeing you all at our next gathering. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wendy, for these inspiring closing remarks. Before I say goodbye, let me invite all of you to switch on your camera, because I would like, from my side as well, thank all our speakers, all our panelists, and our co-organizers, because in the chat, I haven't seen so many thank yous and insightful remarks for such a long time. So once again, thank you very much, all of you, for participating. And let me virtually applaud with the whole audience, all our speakers of this webinar. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Thank you so much, Andras, for the excellent moderation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andras.
Thank you.